welcome to my part 2 of episode 3 part 2. So I'll be sharing my process of egg freezing. So at the start, all patients were required to have a blood test, blood screening for HIV and all those kind of sickness before we start the procedure. During that day, I went for my consultation. On the spot, I called my mom and asked if I'm able to do the egg freezing procedure because it involves so much money and whether she would be able to pay for it. My mom said okay because she loves children and she want me to have children in the future. So on the spot, I told the doctor that I'm up for it. So for this, my chemotherapy will have to be delayed for about 2 to 3 weeks. So on that day itself, on 22 March, I was arranged to have the blood test be done on that day. I think I did ultrasound of my ovary as well. Let me check my calendar. Yeah, so on the 22nd, I have to go to the pharmacy to collect this. I'm sure the image of the pill. So I will have to finish that pill for 7 days. So at the same time, on 26, where I'm taking the pill, I also get injections, the hormonal injections from the pharmacy as well. Then they will teach me at the care clinic how to do the injection myself. So I did the injection from Saturday. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I did 9 injections. Hormonal injections and oral pills, which they asked me to get from the pharmacy. They are to stimulate the development of multiple follicles, which contain the egg cells in the ovaries. As only one follicle is produced in a normal menstrual cycle, so this like pills and injections is to push them to produce more eggs so that there will be more eggs available for collection. This process takes about 2 to 3 weeks. That's why my chemo is delayed by 2 to 3 weeks. And then I have a regular ultrasound check. So after the first week of this pills and injection, I have to go back to the care clinic and then they will do an ultrasound to see how many egg cells have matured and ready for collection. 又是拍我打针的一天，今天打这个针。哒哒。这是我的针，这个是针，这个是针，这个是笔。哒哒，药已经在里面了，看到吗？这是药。我要干嘛？我完了，酒精消毒液。没关系，先转这个。看，我要把它转到225。Can you see? Okay, never mind. Anyways, 225. And I'm gonna put this gel to this B. First, 就丢酒精消毒液。看 cover the front. Okay. And open the top. Can you see there's a zone inside? Then poke it in. Turn it in a bit. Don't too tight. That's what nurse say. Okay. Already. Now let's check through. See this? One, two, three, four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, press 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. So this is the treatment schedule that they show me. So you can see they have like this dates and then like what kind of medication injection I have, and then in the end I can do my egg collection. So I have to bring this copy for every visit. After that, they will tell me the instruction for egg collection. So when the amount are enough for collection, the egg cells will be retrieved by the use of an ultrasound guided needle from the ovaries. This is an outpatient procedure done under sedation. So on the 15th day after I started oral pills, I'm able to have my egg collected on that day. And then they give me like this envelope. They will have an official certificate for the frozen eggs, and then they will tell me how many eggs are collected on what date and how many are frozen on what date. So I have collected 38 eggs and only 31 eggs were frozen. There were 7 eggs that if they are not matured enough, then they will not froze them. So the nurse also told me about the storage and disposal of these eggs. The eggs can be frozen and stored beyond 10 years from the date of freezing. 10 years later, if you wish to extend the storage for another 10 years, you will be required to come down personally to the hospital to give consent for extension of storage, failing which your eggs will be disposed. I have asked like the gynae if, let's say, I prefer to stay single, but I want to have a children, can this be done in Singapore? So the answer is no. You need to have a legal husband to be able to use your eggs to fertilize in Singapore. I had my gynae say you can airflown the eggs to like countries that allows you to use your eggs legally without having a legal husband or without being married. You can airflown it to Australia. In Australia, you can access to their sperm bank and then have your air-flown frozen eggs fertilized, have the IVF conducted in Australia, then go back to Singapore. I suffered some side effect from the egg collection procedure. After I collected my eggs, the nurse also had explained to me like there's a chance for me to experience this side effect. So it's called the ovarian hyperstimulation. 1% of their patients who undergone ovarian stimulation during the IVF treatment may develop ovarian hyperstimulation syndrome. So these symptoms experienced by patient may vary from mild to severe form of ovarian hyperstimulation. So usually people that are of risk of developing this hyperstimulation syndrome are those that has very large amounts of follicles and very high hormone levels. When I have this side effect like ovarian hyperstimulation happen to me, the nurse said that it's very highly due to the fact that I have retrieved a large amount of follicles, which is 31 eggs. And also because I'm 23 years old, so I'm at a young age where my hormones level are very high. I'm considered high risk of developing this hyperstimulation syndrome. The symptoms that people might have is that for mild form, there will be like abdominal swelling, lower abdominal pain, and nauseous. The moderate form is that in addition to that, you have diarrhea, vomiting, dark strong urine. And then for the severe kind is that in addition to the previous ones, you have persistent vomiting, unable to tolerate any fluid orally, very strong abdominal swelling resulting in difficulty in breathing. So for me, I suffer the severe form. I had a very severe abdominal swelling, which result in me having difficulty in breathing. And also I feel that my heart rate was very high as well. I could really feel the heartbeat beating. And then I had nauseous. Eventually I vomited. I quickly called the nurse of the care clinic, and then I went back to clinic, and then they found like there's a lot of fluid inside my abdominal and the area around it. So they have the procedure to drain the fluid out from my body. That was the first procedure. And I went back home, and after that, like I felt that the swelling did came down a bit, but my stomach was still like really like big. It was difficult for me to even eat. I feel like the swelling in the abdominal is like hitting against my stomach or something. Like I couldn't eat really well. At the same time, I was also vomiting on that day. Like it started before that was nauseous, and then on that day I started vomiting. Then it was on Sunday, so I didn't wanted to wait till Monday because I really couldn't take it. So I went to SGH A&E. I was admitted to hospital, including the first time I went back to drain the fluid, plus in the hospital. In total, I think I drained about 7 liters of fluid from my stomach and the area around it. In the hospital, it was really painful for me to even sit down because it's like hitting on the stomach. So I stayed quite a long time in the hospital to settle this ovarian hyperstimulation. So after like quite a long stay at the hospital, I was able to get back home. I will be sharing a few clips of me in the hospital. soon I'm gonna say goodbye to this hair. So that's all for my fertility preservation sharing. Thank you for watching the video until part 2. And I will see you in the next video. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Don't you doubt me when I'm fighting my lonely nights. I'm standing tall like a giant. Yeah, I'll be going higher. So don't you doubt me when I'm dying my lonely fights. I stand on like a giant.